Hey everyone, I'm super excited to welcome you all to a panel discussion. I'm Tarsha and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a member of TechQC, which is an unofficial club of PhD College of Technology. We are a safe space slash support group for members of the LGBT community and sexual assault victims. I'll be moderating today's talk on the importance of having a campus safe space, along with its needs, perks, challenges, and more. We have some great speakers here with us today. It's a pleasure to have all of you on board. Please introduce yourselves. Valumina, would you like to go first?
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. This is Valimina. I'm from PhD IMSR and yeah, currently completed my UG and I'm admin of PhD IMSR.
Okay, thank you. Pavitran?
Sure. Hello everyone, I'm Pavitran. So my pronouns are he and him. I'm a metallurgy passed out. I passed out last year in the 2020 batch. I work as a diversity inclusion recruiter at Allegis. And yeah, I look forward to having conversation with you all. Thank you.
That's great, Pavitran. Thank you. Akash?
Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Akash Ganapathy. I am a third year student of mass communication at Amrita University. And I guess I'm here for a different sort of diverse mix of perspective on campus safe, having a safe space on a campus is for LGBTQ people. I would like to thank Bhushan for inviting me and all my other friends from GLF for having taken the time to participate here. Thank you.
Thank you, Akash. It's great having you here. Bhushan, would you like to go next?
Yeah. So I'm Kirti Bhushan. I'd like to be called Bhushan, and my pronouns are he, him. Uh, I am one of the co-founder of TechUZ, and I feel proud about that. And I thank everyone who are present here. I'm doing my final year UG in metallurgical engineering, PhD College of Technology. So I think that should be nice. Fine.
Yes, and he's also the brains behind TechQC.
Yeah, with all your support, with all your love and support. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great having you here, Bhushan, with us. Yeah. So now that we know who's here with us today, let's begin the discussion. My first question is directed to Valim. You know that Justice Anand Venkatesh stated that medical students should not be misguided on topics related to the LGBT community. So, what do you think is misguiding there or is a false representation?
Okay, as they said, it's like we have, the MBBS students, they have a chapter in their fourth year something that LGBTQ is that is a mental issue and it could be cured. And they have a chapter regarding that. It's a disease and we could cure it and all that. So, yeah, maybe that is the misguidance. I think that is the misguidance because we blindly believe what is in the books and we just go by the books and we just go by the professors whatever they say. So yeah, so when this is in the book, like what do you say? WHO stated that this is not a mental issue, right? And even after that, books were not upgraded or they were not revised and they were not printed again. We still have it. I still see it. Like, even a lot of psychiatrists who passed out this year also think the same thing that LGBTQ is a mental issue. Okay, so maybe if we start putting everything like every negative stuff out of it and start making them learn about what this is exactly, maybe that would be better.
Yes, I agree to that. I really think people should be more educated about all of it. Yeah, totally agree with that. Thank you, Alumina. And my next question is directed towards Pavitran.
Yes, Darshan.
So, as a queer alumni, what do you feel about having a campus safe space? What do you think will like? Do you think it will be really helpul to people who are coming out slowly?
Yes, of course. Let's consider a student, let's assume myself. So I joined the diploma. I was around 15 and a half. So I was in and around the campus for almost 7 years. So I personally did not have that privilege to understand my sexuality. And I think in the general perspective, we all come from, our parents' generation where they are in the baby boomers generation. So we aren't having the privilege to acknowledge that very early. So as we are already in the dilemma of understanding it, and if we have a really safe space to enlighten things and people without prejudice to help, that goes without saying is very useful for people who are actually trying to come out, who are actually trying to acknowledge their sexuality in the first place. It would have been great for me. And I personally was in the dilemma for almost 3 or 4 years, because like a simple word, whatever you say, a simple word called gay and lesbian is hypersexualized in college. So whatever you say, it's taken in the highest forms of prejudice, and you can't even go to the staffs because that's the worst thing that can happen to you. So this goes without saying, having a safe space and also having an allyship. Usually people think, being an ally in every, let's say, in political discussions, it's kind of different, orienting towards their, opinions and things. But when it comes to sexuality and LGBT related allyship, so one got, get rid of all the stereotypes, and one has to educate themselves to be an ally in this place. So safe space is definitely required. No, it should be a prerequisite according to me.
Yeah, that's true, Pavitran. We're hoping it happens in a lot more places soon.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So Akash, you are an openly gay person. How did you feel when you first came out as a gay person?
I would like to answer that question with one word, which is privilege. Because when we talk about safe spaces, we have the privilege of access of information, of technology, of educating ourselves about the community, about the realities of our community, through whether it is OTT platforms or social media. We have been given the freedoms to explore our sexuality. That is why we are here as a community, supporting each other. And that is what I would say was the key to my coming out early on in my life than anybody else that I know. The fact is that my parents and my family, even though we're not close, they were surprisingly, unfazed with it, and they were things have been the same as they used to be. My friends were a bigger support than my family was, and it's important to have friends who don't just dust it off as so what. They should also be able to understand what it means to be marginalized in a society that is still heteronormative. And yes, that is what I would say. The reaction to coming out, it obviously is going to differ from person to person. It's going to be a very unique journey for all of us. And the timeline of how it works out for each person, the circumstances in which they can come out, whether they have the support system in case it goes wrong, all of it needs to come into play when we talk about safe spaces. There are a lot of cases where we hear people, LGBTQ kids, getting kicked out of their homes, in need of support. Even when they go to NGOs, the organizers of the NGOs are getting harassed by the police, who are supposed to protect us, the law which is supposed to protect all its citizens, including us. So when we consider all that, the important thing to remember while talking about safe spaces is that we need to understand timelines. We need to understand everybody's circumstances are different. Ours is a very umbrella community, is what I would like to keep reminding. It's not just gay people, it's not just lesbian people, it's not just transgenders. There are intersex people, there are bisexuals, there are queer people, there are asexual people. So when we talk about being inclusive, we need to be inclusive of everybody and everybody's journey. Not every gay person is going to have the same journey as each other, and to remember all that as allies of our own community. Within our community, we need the allyship before we can talk about allyship outside and with our families and generations that do not exactly understand us. That is what I would like to say about coming out.
Thank you so much, Akash. It was really enlightening and I really think that people should, like be more open to to all of you coming out and be more supportive. I completely agree with you. Thank you. Bhushan, what do you think are some of the challenges faced by a queer safe space?
Actually, a queer safe space is itself is a challenge. So maybe not in the metropolitan cities or like not in a very broad-minded environment or campus or so. Like I want to state that IIT Bombay is having a quiz safe space and they are official. They are even having like they are even functioning as a NGO. So here, speaking about the challenges are like the acceptance, basically the acceptance. People like even they themselves are queer. They aren't ready to accept the fact that they are queer, that they belong to this community, or maybe they don't want to show off. It depends on person, but talking about as Pavitran said, like it's like hypersexualized. Like if I utter a word, I'm gay or homosexual, like people will turn around and see me weird, and I cannot be an ally as well. I cannot talk about these stuff. So if they ask the common question like, if you are supporting them, no, you must be one among them. So this, I think this is a shitty thing, and like memes are all coming up, like if I am supporting Peter, I'm not a goat, and all. Yeah, we know that. So yeah, and one more thing is the stereotypes. Girls should not talk this stuff, boys should not do this stuff, and these kind of stereotype, I don't blame the people, but I kind of blame the system. No one is ready to talk about this. Even if we are ready, we are like suppressed or being bullied or the thing. uh, yeah, the main thing that TechUC is not like they are not open for faculties is the thing. We got some ill comments from the faculty side, and I don't think our management is like inclusive. Yeah, that's it.
The fact that you said nobody's ready to talk about it is what is like really needs to be. Okay. Valimina, your next question.
Yeah.
How can we include a more queer-friendly curriculum?
Okay. Firstly, people have to start getting the mindset of unlearning. Now we have learned a lot from like, if it is college stuff. Like last 17 years, we would have learned a lot from the society, from the family, from the system, and all that. So we'll have to have the mindset of unlearning first. I mean, we are all grown up in the same society, but we are like out of the box. We unlearned, right? So people have to start unlearning to learn something about about everything, about caste or whatever. You have to first start unlearning whatever you learned before. It's okay to unlearn whatever you learned before, and to include friendly curriculum. It's like the staffs. First, the staff should stop bullying. I mean, I have faced staff bullying because of my sexuality and my gender identity. So the staff first should they should be first people to start unlearning and make others learn what it is like. Even though we don't have it in the books, even though we don't have it in the system or the syllabus or whatever, but the staffs and the teachers and the other people around us should like first know it and not stop. I mean, like not bully the people, not bully anybody about their sexuality or gender identity or whatever. And then comes the syllabus and books, and obviously we have to include these in the curriculum stuff. But yeah, obviously now the Madras High Court has stated that we have to start giving education about gender identity and sexual orientation in the schools and colleges and everywhere. So yeah, as Justice Anand Venkatesh stated, we have to start giving the education about it. And again, we have, like, even though we have it in the books, we need to start learning it, right? So people and the staff and students should start learning it first. I mean, they could learn it even though they are not in the syllabus and they are not in the education system or whatever.
So, I have a follow-up question. Do you think the current students will be more open, like when they grow up, they'll be more open to such curriculums? Like, how
Yeah,
do they react
they
to
would, because nowadays people have, like, for my generation, everybody has started unlearning stuff, and my younger generation also, they have started unlearning stuff and started to explore what they need to know, and they have started to research about what all this is and what is more than the system. Like, there, everybody is out of the system. Okay, nobody is into this formula, like, you have to grow up, be a man or a woman, and then marry a man or a woman. Nobody is into the formula. Everybody wants to explore what they want, what they need, and when they start exploring, I'm pretty sure that they'll be open to all these curriculums in their education.
Right. Thank you so much. Pavitran, so you were an alumni of PSG Tech. So how would you have felt if Tech was during your
Is my voice audible? I hear some flickering noises around. Tasha, is it audible to you?
Yeah, it's audible.
Yeah, okay, sure. So in my time, if TechQC was already existing as a formal or an informal club, it would have been helpful, as I already mentioned, for the students who are in dilemmatic way. First of all, and acknowledgement is different. Acknowledging privilege is different. But in our space, the main as the problem exists from the teacher side, and this oppression is multi-directional. So, for example, let's say we have Baga, where automobile folks to go and do the thing. So the students must understand, queer people who are in teens and who are coming out and understand that this is not something strange and this is not something for which I should go and take treatment. And as Valimina stated in the beginning, so psychiatrists are the worst people. I mean, especially this heteronormative world, you find a lot of psychiatrists treating queer people, as mentally challenged. The other thing, that is one pathetic thing that I've seen personally. I felt it personally, and the other thing would be. So we can't just go and make teachers learn. It has to be on the deep rooted level. So the deep rooted level is not just acceptance. Acknowledging it is the first thing. Acceptance is totally different. Acknowledging that it exists is in the first place is different. And it all boils down to patriarchy. If you just look at it, if you break the gender norms of husband, wife, and this man, I'm a man kind of a thing. So the patriarchy is totally blown off. You could have seen, I personally seen women, holding the torch of patriarchy more than men, especially in the staffs department of PSG. And, especially girls weren't allowed to be the placement reps and a lot of internal misogyny. So this is what it boils down to: patriarchy and misogyny. They go hand by hand. So if a queer safe space existed, we can take further steps in breaking the old stereotypes and the archaic ones, and would eventually parade towards a better inclusive world. Yeah.
Thank you, Pavitran. I'm glad Bhushan came up with the idea at least now.
Me too.
Thank you. Akash. So, like I said, you're an openly gay person. So please, how did your peer react, and were your family accepting of you?
That is where I keep coming back to the point that everybody is, going to be different, and we cannot predict, or as much as we do not like to be stereotyped as one particular characteristic for the entire community, we should give the same benefit of the doubt to the rest of the people around us, to the faculty, to the family we belong to our friends, because I am from a very conservative family and I study in a college that is extremely conservative. So I assumed that coming out is going to be a nightmare. But I was really surprised to see that my department and my faculty were, in fact, they understood me better now that they understand what I go through and how the different journey that I've taken has shaped my perspective on all issues that I speak on in class. And my friends, of course, were very progressive, I should say. We are, again, I come back to the point that we are lucky to have digital access. And touching on the points that Valyamai and Pavitran started, the key to changing stereotypes, to creating safe spaces, is not to, point fingers at anybody, but rather to increase the digital access, to bridge the digital divide and knowledge gap. When we're talking about how cities are better and more inclusive, and how rural and less urban areas are less inclusive, more homophobic, when we say that, we are only saying the fact, we're only highlighting the fact that there is digital divide. There is a lack of access to information, lack of access to a horde of media and representation that we are privileged to have access to. So bringing that gap bridging that gap would be the key to making sure that every community, every section of society is going to accept us as a full-fledged member of society and our country. That would be the next step, of course. But like to the point of your question, let people surprise you. You may never know how divergent they are from the stereotype you hold in your head, because we are the people who know best how stereotypes can be false. We need to be open to the idea that people can surprise you too.
Thank you so much, Akash. It was really well put. Thank you. Bhushan, do you consider our city or state as a conservative one, and why?
Yeah, like as I stated earlier, I do consider there are many instances. I would like to highlight one point. A person, I don't want to name them, so they are gay, they are openly gay, and they had their photo or picture in their dating app, it seems, and someone came for a hookup, and okay, they had some stuff, and when the other person was leaving, he was just asking this question that I'd like to state it in Tamil. உனக்கு photo வச்சிருக்கியே, உனக்கு வெக்கமா இல்லையா? The thing. So these kind of stuff, like, it's surprising. Even the people from the community are not ready to accept the fact that they are different from others, or they are in complete denial. So yeah, I think that's why I consider this is a conservative environment. And if the people from the community itself is like they are in denial, then how can we expect others to be open or accepting or kind of thing? Yeah, they actually, as far as homosexuality is considered, like, they think that this is a fantasy or this is a phase, and they will get over the phase after they get married to someone, or having relationship or intercourse with the opposite gender or something like that. Even the people from the community, like, they are in this perspective mindset. And as Akash said, no, we have to give access. We have to give the digital access to them. They should be stuffed with information. At least they should be exposed to the information, so that they can choose they can choose their decision, or yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Tasha, if I may,
Yes.
I would like to add on to something that Bhushan said. Yes, there is a lot of internalized homophobia that we experience in the community. Yes, I would like to mention this one friend who I helped come out to his parents recently, and his parents were glad that he is bisexual instead of just gay, saying that okay, then you like girls too, you can get married to one. That was the reaction of his family, and he was co-opting that mentality within himself, thinking that okay, yeah, that is better, that is good. But in fact, it was an internalized homophobia, as well as the fact that he thinks that is not his own mistake. You know, in mass communication, where we're studying the sociology of how the society influences individual decision, how even a personal decision like suicide is not a person's own responsibility, but a consequence of circumstance. We study that. So that is when I think that a lot of people who are misogynists within the LGBTQ community, who have the issue of internalized homophobia, who have troubles with acceptance, who do not want to come out and live their full lives with the fullest of expression and love, just because of how society might react. All of that stems from the fact that we are on a journey, not on a destination. Realizing that we are different, that we are being outcast as sexual minorities, that realization is not a destination. There is so much more we are going to need to do. Even after you come out as an openly gay person, every time you meet a new person, every time you go to a new place, every time you start a new job or a new degree, or you meet new friends, you are going to have to come out again and again and again until the end of your life. So thinking that we are on some sort of a timeline or a deadline to get to some destination on our queer journey is what puts a lot of pressure on ourselves to behave certain ways, behave not in certain ways. So these do's and don'ts come in out of an imagined setting of what is right and what is wrong. So if we need to address that, we need to address the fact that even though the LGBTQ community is inclusive, even though we are not just for ourselves, we also advocate for sexual assault victims. We also advocate for anti-casteism efforts. We also advocate for so many other oppressed communities at the same time. We also need to accept the fact that we also fight each other. We also have hate against each other sometimes. We have biphobia. Some gay people consider being bi as a phase. So we need to accept the fact that there are going to be different people with different opinions, with different journeys and different positions in life. Yes, there is no excuse for hate. There is no excuse for hate crimes. But to address all that, we need to be open to the fact that we are going to be facing challenges for the rest of our life. It's going to be a journey that is going to last a long time. We cannot expect for miracles to happen. If we be realistic and pragmatic about that, safe spaces would be much more safer.
That's so true. Thank you so much, Akash. That was really nice. Next up, we have a question to Valimina. So, being in a medical field, what did you personally feel is wrong in the campus? What do you think has to be changed?
As I said, the psychiatrists and the curriculum has to be changed, and more than, I don't know, but for me, like from my opinion, more than engineering colleges and arts colleges, I feel that medical colleges have the most bullies ever. So it's like, what do you say? I don't know, but is it because of the curriculum? Is it because of what they study or whatever? Medical college has this tendency of bullying people. I mean, the college, the staffs, and the students also. They have the bullying mindset. Sorry. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So what I was saying, yeah. So students have a lot of bullying minds. Okay, so I have faced a lot of bullying. So I think that these colleges and staff should, learn a lot about everything. Depends on education. Everything depends on learning. Whatever I say is like you will have to unlearn stuff what you learned before and learn the stuff you have to learn now. And just do not, bully or degrade or just push them away, push the people away from you. So yeah, everything depends on the education you're taking, and then it's like more than acceptance. We want to we want those people to understand what it is like to feel, and what it is like to be bullied, what it is like to be avoided, ignored, or whatever. So for that, acceptance is not enough. For that, education is enough, and education is needed, and you need to put that into practical stuff. Just learning about it is not enough, because a lot of people know what this is and still they bully. Still they tend to bully even though they know about this. I mean, just because they know about this, they're like, okay, I know about this, but still you're not accepted. It's not that. It's like you'll have to learn and you'll have to put that practical also. So yeah, that is what I think is wrong, because we have a chapter, and that is like, how do you say, everything we do is through books or whatever we learn or whatever we see, right? So when we are learning about this in our books, that this is a mental issue or this is some disease or this could be cured or whatever, and this is not normal, the so-called normal, this is not the so-called normal, and that is when the internalized even though from as Akash said, the internalized homophobia comes from here, that we are learning this. We're learning to be not normal. This is not normal. I'm not normal. I thought I was not normal. I thought I was not, I was not in a right path. I was doing it for attention or whatever. Because I learned about it. And this is what is influencing me to do whatever I did in my past. Now, what I say is, this is what is wrong. Like you will have to stop putting everything in the books and in the system, and stop telling your children that this is not normal. Stop doing that. That is what the staffs also should stop doing that. First, when I came out, I had a staff bullying also. I'm not out openly, but yeah, but friends know, and I started posting online, and everybody started to know, and then I had staff bullying. I was assaulted. I was sexually assaulted just because of my gender identity and my sexuality. That is where the campus goes wrong. The staffs go wrong. It's that you don't have to accept me. Just let me go. Do not bully me. Do not degrade me. If you cannot learn it as soon as possible, take your time. But in that process, don't give me mental trauma. That is what is wrong in the campus. Everybody's mental health matters, right? So if you cannot learn, I am giving you time to learn. I don't want you to accept as soon as I say you that this is me and this is what I like and this is what I want to be. You could learn. You could take your time. But they don't do that. All they do is they're like, I know this is not normal. I know you can't be like this. You cannot come to the campus. You cannot come to the college. You cannot be in my department. If you are, I'm going to bully you. I'm going to assault you. Because I have the right. Because you're not normal, and nobody's going to ask about it. And no one asked about it. When I complained, no one asked about it. So that is what people should start learning. People should start unlearning also, and people should start respecting boundaries. People should start accepting and understanding. Just just accepting is not enough. You need to understand my feelings. You need to understand how I feel about your bullying. That is what. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Valimina. I really hope changes are made soon.
Tarsha, I'd like to give a brief extension of what Valimina has to say. So, as a D&I recruiter who recruits, Rainbow Babies, so what Valimina felt was exactly right, and not just acceptance is right. So what we need is inclusivity. By inclusivity, we mean not everyone. Let's leave the homophobic people behind. Which accounts to most of the people by whom we are affected. A lot of people who are into the queer community, and as Akash and Bhushan already mentioned, so they want to appease people of the majority, and they disguise in the even disguise themselves into hetero relationships only to have pathetic endings. And the reason is because they have unconscious bias. So let us assume a kid is growing. So kid watches TV first. A kid looks at their parents. So their parents are in a heterosexual relationship. So kid assumes that this mother, my father, and then kid goes on watches a TV, watches a program, whatever the cartoon it is. So again, the kid sees a father, mother, and children. This is the family structure. So this whole family structure, it was subconsciously fed since the childhood. So that is where the unconscious bias starts growing. So it takes shape, it takes leaps and bounds, and when the kid is an adult, an adult and turning teenager, even if they identify themselves in the rainbow space, it comes in the it is in their subconscious mind. It comes without even their notice. Even at the most needy of times for the queer people, they sometimes say homophobic things. So the unconscious bias can be treated like Valimina said, unlearning and relearning, but that doesn't look like an easy process at all. So I have recruited for Pride Circle in some instances. So in Pride Circle, in the screening process of recruiting, there is a simple norm. So we have to ask this mandate question about their identity. So before that question, let's assume the conversation is going really smooth and the candidate is really suitable for this role. So when I come up with this question, so there would be hesitation and there would be an awkward silence, at least for 30 seconds. So this is a problem here. Even at the most safest space in the Pride Circle recruitment, people are still hesitant, to come out. It's not like coming out; it is just a norm there. So that's how it should be. Like what do you mention about your religion there? What do you mention about the caste when you're applying something? It is just a simple norm. So we are trying to normalize it. But still, so I would tell them about my journey and give them a set of comfort. I would, like Valimina said, empathy is really important. If people can't empathize and people just listen to wittily reply with a wit, it is just as worse as having a homophobic comment. You gotta empathize with people. And also regarding the curriculum, so I vividly remember an IGCSE board school. So they broke the stereotype and brought the lesbian parents, gay parents, non-binary parents, and then of course the straight parents into the book. And our boomer generation, not the baby boomers, I would call the millennial boomers who would be in the range of 30 to 40 age. So they raised a complaint and they took it to the court. So that is the harsh reality we are in. Like Akash put it very well previously. So people can surprise us, but most likely we can expect the worst case a lot of times.
Thank you so much, Pavitran. That was really good. So have you ever tried to educate your fellow mates on this topic?
Yes. So how do I do it? So I always have this, cinephile group, and where there are certain people, and we also have a psychologist group where we have. Apart from being associated with TQC, I'm also associated with another group. So I help people understanding the norm first. So if a person feels that he is inclined towards men, I always suggest them, to go watch some movies, because our people have this, what do you call it, the affinity towards, taking a lot of, what do you call the inspiration from movies. In fact, if you call, if I'd like to recall, so I try to disguise myself as Vito Corleone in The Godfather, just like that. We all try doing it at one time or the another. So that's a simple strategy I use. So I suggest them go watch Brokeback Mountain. So hey, why should I watch it? Hey, Heath Ledger acted in it. Jake Gyllenhaal is in it. Go watch. It's a gay movie. Watch it. Hey, what? It's a gay movie. No, just go watch it. So the people watch it and they come back. They have a different perspective. Oh, I see why it's intense. So I say that's the reality. That is the closer reality. Whatever you've seen is just inflated, and that is totally not what it is. So that is the first thing I do, and then I try to have conversations with it. Just breaking the myths, and that's how I take it ahead. And I've helped a couple of people get out of straight relationships which were controlling and pathetic, and now they are super cool, independent, and other things. I mean, when you come out of a relationship, sometimes it's fine, especially when you're a woman. Yeah. I'm in the patriarchy.
Yeah, actually, fun fact. Myself and Pavitran, like he's my junior. He's also from metallurgy.
Yeah, I'm your junior. Yeah.
I'm his junior. We are like connected with Boreback Mountain, and yeah, when I first met him, I think the second time. So he gave me this movie. He just uploaded it in my mobile, and yeah, asked me to watch it. Then, and even that time, I didn't know that he was queer and all. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he thought I was the perpetrator, a bully. It's okay, Vishal.
Great, thank you. So Akash, please tell us about your political reformation as a queer person, and do you have any sort of action plan about it?
One of the key issues close to my heart is the fact that, again, I come back to stereotypes, because whenever people think of LGBTQ people, they think of designers, fashion designers, graphic designers, dancers, artists, and that sort of thing. Yes, we are very creative. We are very explorative, and we are not constrained by the heteronormative and patriarchal notions of success through we are also successful in every other field, yes, but the fact that all of our discrimination stems from a careless government is really, really hurtful. And to change that, we cannot just keep blaming the government. We cannot just spend decades in litigation and court systems that are still prejudiced, are still inaccessible to a lot of our members of the community. We cannot afford to win our full rights through those means. Right now, everybody knows how the marriage equality case is being stalled in the Delhi High Court, how even despite the Madras High Court's landmark judgment by Justice Ananda Venkateshan, the implementation of it is going to take years, if not decades. And so only concrete solution for full rights, for full representation in society, is through dialogue, through participation in the democratic process. We need to start voting more. We need to start becoming politicians. We need to start supporting the groups that support policies we need for us. We need to be smart about which party we vote for when it comes to who is really our ally. In 2018, when the case was up in the Supreme Court for decriminalization, the government said there were only 2.5 lakh people who are part of the LGBTQ community in India. Is that true? Even in Coimbatore, we could, even in Tamil Nadu, we could find that many people. So they, as long as politicians don't realize that we are a voting bloc, that we do have a solidified, we can too have a solidified opinion. As long as they don't treat us that way, we will never get our full rights. If we look at countries that have achieved better inclusivity, better progressive policies for LGBTQ couples and citizens, you can see that the political discourse involves them in the dialogue, involves their issues in the dialogue. The US, Canada, a lot of the Western nations, Taiwan in the East. When we look at how they've achieved the rights, it's through legislative action. So to get that, they need to care about our votes. For that, we need to care about politics. We cannot just shrug it off as I am apolitical, I don't care about it. All politicians are smug. That is not an attitude we have the luxury of taking. We need to be able to stand for what we need instead of just belly aching and complaining about it. And yes, we do create safe spaces for us in our campuses. We do try to educate our straight friends about what our struggles are, but that is not enough. We need to go forward. So right now, I remember one of my role models is Anish Gawande. He's a Rhodes Scholar right now at Oxford. He's the founder of Pink List India, that created a list of all LGBTQ friendly politicians before the 2019 Lok Sabha elections and 2014 Lok Sabha elections. That was a remarkable step towards realizing who is for us and who is against us. But we need to be careful also, because several parties like the AAP, which is still progressive, Sharad Pawar's NCP, which are all considered progressive opposition to the conservative government, even they have been hypocritical in making promises to us right before elections where our populations are bigger. Like in Mumbai, when there was a local election coming up, they created LGBTQ cells of their own parties. Like they would create an IT cell, lawyer cell, medical cell, OBC cell. Like that, they create an LGBTQ cell before the election. AAP did, NCP did, but then they did not keep up with it after the elections, after they'd been elected to office. So how can you hold them accountable? By being at the table with them, by getting a seat at the table to get into politics ourselves. So we need to diversify our professional ambitions as well to achieve what we truly need. So that is why my ambition is in the direction of politics to some extent. I still haven't figured out the entire detail of how it works, because politics is mostly time and opportunity. Yes, right now there are queer politicians that if you even ask the people right here, they might not know about. There have been transgender people elected in more conservative areas than we can think of. There is Harish Iyer, an LGBTQ activist, a part of Indian National Congress. We keep saying that all parties have betrayed us. Even the INC right now, it might seem progressive. Right now, it might seem liberal, but they opposed marriage equality, decriminalization of 377 before 2018 judgment. Yes. So every party has a hypocritical side to it. Like I said, to cure that, to make them care, we need to make our voices heard. We need to make sure that our vote is heard. Encouraging that is one of my pet projects, sort of. It's very close to my heart, encouraging especially our community members to go out and vote, to understand who are our choices. That is how I think we can make real change in our country and elsewhere.
Thank you so much, Akash. It was really impactful. So I really hope people are more aware of the importance of being heard in order for the society to become more progressive and inclusive. Thank you.
Tasha, I have a small extension to say here. Like Akash mentioned, I thought Congress was a progressive one, only to get disappointed. And I did a small, the May of. Sorry, did you guys lose me?
Yeah, I think you're back.
Oh, sorry. Like Akash mentioned, so I thought Congress was a progressive one, and I was only left with disappointments. And in the May 2021 teen elections, I did a small, go through of how progressive and made a list of the parties which were the most progressive to the least progressive. And again, like Akash mentioned, I was shocked to know that right-wing central government had an LGBT cell in Chennai, and as it started getting ablaze and with a lot of members, and they shut it immediately down because it is again hypocritical, right? So their conservative mindset and creating an LGBT cell. So, and later I found out that there were two parties who have it in their agenda. So one is the VCK headed by Mr. Thirumalan, another is the Communist. I'm not vouching for it. I'm just saying in 2008 they had vouched for LGBTQA rights. So it was a time where people didn't even know what it was. So in the movies, if you see, they would go with this bullshit stereotypic dialogue, Kavanani kind of this bullshit. That was that time in 2008. He vouched for it, and communists vouched for it. The reason why it is not so loud in the general vote bank is, again, like Akash mentioned, it is because they don't consider us as a vote bank. And another thing is, if they tap on this untapped waters, it might clog the whole pool. They might lose the entire voting audience. So that is another thing which they cater for. They cater to the boomers. Boomers vote them, they come to power. And I don't again believing themselves coming up with this thing. And have no qualms. I mean, I can't say no qualms. I have all the qualms and towards the state and central government in addressing these things. I sometimes address the same in Twitter too, but I guess that's a long way to go. But I really wish how Akash puts all of these things in a more coherent way.
Thank you, Pavitran. Bhushan, I have a question for you. So we've been talking about safe spaces all this while. So how do you think a safe space can be educated or sensitize people in this topic?
Yeah. So before that, like I would stand for Valli Meena. Suddenly I feel like I'm in 13 Reasons Why, and I raise hands. I announce that I am also a victim of sexual assault. So I don't blame that. I don't blame the person. I didn't blame the person. That is why TechUC is here now. And talking about educating in this topic, we don't educate only about LGBTQIA+. So we take care of people who are assault survivors. We take care of people who deal with mental issues. We take care of people who deal with their sexualities. We take care of people who deal with any kind of shit that is bothering them in their mind, and that's hurting them or thing. So people think like they see the rainbow flag in our logo and all, and they think that this is exclusively for LGBT and all. This is just a safe space. We are inclusive of LGBTQIA, and most of the time people don't realize that. And the second thing which I would like to highlight is the religion part. People claim that religion, all the religions, I mean, most of the religions are against homosexuality or against queer. But the fact is, we have queer goddesses. People have highlighted points from the holy scripts or thing. But people, I would not say homophobes, but the other people's, they also highlight points which are against queerness and all. I think we have pretty much helped in debunking those things. Maybe you can have a look at the Instagram profile. And coming to mental health issues, we think that if you have something in mind, or if something is bothering you in mind, we ourselves think that we are kind of sick, or this is not normal and we don't fit somewhere. For example, I had a personal, I have many personal instances, especially my dad used to scold me, or he used to talk against me when I don't fit in a circle or a particular environment. People are crazy about cricket, or maybe Indians are crazy about cricket, and I don't watch cricket. It's my opinion, and it's my thing. It's my wish. I can watch cricket, or I can, it's my choice. So you cannot force me to watch cricket. But it's not like pretty much forcing me to do that normal stuff. It's like if you do that, you will look normal. So it will be a use for you. It will be good for you in the future. So that's the thing. What they say usually, they don't want to force us, or they don't want to hurt us, but they want us to be normal. So we should think about that. And being normal is not normal. Being normal is the absolute abnormal. The Sanskrit phrase, it says, what is not natural is the natural thing. So yeah, I go by that. And yeah, in many things. And we should not like, some people, they don't like getting into the roads and flying colors, the flying rainbow flags and all. Some people, they don't like that, but they still do activism thing. They still educate other people. It need not be the rainbow thing all the time. You can do that in silence. You can, like Pavitran said, you can first educate your peer, your fellow people. You can educate your parents. And yeah, they think that being queer is only for like, for hookups, or looking for some kind of sexual connect or physical thing. But you should make them realize that it is not the thing, and even asexuals exist. Yeah, there are people who are like nymphomaniac. There are people like who are sapiosexual, demisexual. So all people queer are not like looking for sex, looking for some partnership or kind of thing. But the thing is, they look for someone with the same kind of mentality, to have a talk most of the time, to express their feeling, to express like, if you're you know if you're a NRI, you feel like flocking together with the same birds. So that's the thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhushan. That was really well put. Next, Valimina. We are aware of the fact that coming out is not an easy process and it is not sudden. So, are you out of the closet? If you are, could you elaborate more about your experience?
I'm not like openly out, but yeah, some of my friends and some of the people online knows about this. Not my family, or they don't know. But coming out for me is like, they shouldn't be forced to come out. Or a lot of people in the community asked me to like come out of the closet, tell it to your parents, be openly out. No, it shouldn't be like that. It's like whenever you're ready, do it. It's. I mean, if you don't want to do it, also it's fine. If you just want to, like, a partner to know, or just a close circle of you to know, and that is also okay. Coming out depends on you. Coming out is totally what you want. Okay, and well, if anybody wants to come out, and if you know about your parents and you know what they would react, maybe financially getting independent and then coming out would be a suggestion or an advice or whatever. Yeah.
So, Pavitran, so what is your perspective of the impact of a safe space in a workspace?
So I'm in the same domain, so I think it's easy to answer this. The impact would be first to drive the productivity. So businesses, take this into consideration only in things that are productive. You might see companies, having their rainbow badges. It is, simply of no use. Just like a homophobic person, having the rainbow badges on their doors. It is not of any use at all. But when they're what they're actually acknowledging is, I'm personally working under a US boss, and I could see baby boomers from India having 20, 25, years spanning career, and they are disappointed whenever the boss utters something diverse. So the what is diverse for us? Not diverse. I think it's diverse, right? It's diverse, right? It's not diverse. I know what is it. It's diverse, right?
Yeah, diverse. potato.
Yeah, it's quite confusing. So don't judge me. So this yesterday it happened yesterday. So my boss was explaining how he was grooming his girl to behave with her boyfriend and all. So you should have seen the faces of Indian boomers. It was in total exhaustion. That was something exhilarating to see. I put the video of I was laughing like anything. Just that they are teaching their children to independent to behave, to learn for the future itself is bothering the boomers. So the impact starts from there. So the other impact would be to learn people at a really closeted rate. So in D&I we often play videos. So there'll be small lectures where my seniors and I would try to help them. And that is another thing. First I interviewed at this company with a different boss. She is actually from Kerala. I don't want to name her. She is into feminism and LGBT for the past 2 decades. And when I interviewed, and I found out that she had a lot of prejudice. And in fact, the prejudice was towards the differently abled people. She tells me that this is charity kind of a work, and I was totally pissed off. And then she tells me they live to inspire us. Oh, I said, okay, ma'am, we'll find another time. Hope. And then I rejected that offer very soon. So the impact should be at a closeted rate. It should begin from day one, and also it should be in the DNA of that company. For example, I'm into recruitment. If diversity and inclusion is not in the DNA of our team, it is not going to work. People are still going to say vague comments about it, and the other impact would be increased productivity. Like I recruited from Pride Circle, it is not just artists and singers and things. They are open to anything, data science, whatever thing it is. They are just like the others, right? So that's the impact. Helps in productivity and it helps in turnover. So when you join companies, you understand employee turnover rates. So how much time an employee stays in the company and how much the company spends to train that employee. So if a employee stays like 3 or 4 years, it is more productive for the company. But what if an employee joins a company, doesn't like the homophobia, was treated, it's not treated well, and they leave the company in 2 to 3 months? It is again an expenditure, right? And that is what is being saved. And also the most expected thing would be better understanding of each other and empathizing. So these would be the impacts, Tasha.
That's very true.
I'm sorry if I bored you all with some technical things. So
No, you didn't.
If I may, Tasha, I would like to add to what he said. Do we have the time?
Yes, we do. Please go ahead.
So when we're talking about workplace and how we would like to be treated, there is this theory called the panopticon theory, where just by the illusion of somebody watching you, you behave as you're supposed to do. That is the logic behind CCTV cameras. And in a prison in the UK, they installed a central guard tower and made the cells of the inmates a circle around that tower. They cannot see inside whether there is a guard or not. They just assume that there is a guard and they behave better. This was proven. So when you think you're being watched, when you think you will have repercussions if you do something wrong, that is when you will behave properly. If there is a incentive to behave properly. So if you want to create safe workspaces for LGBTQ community, you need to start at creating an incentive for people of the other communities to actually treat us equally. The only incentive for doing the right, the ultimate incentive for people to do the right thing is the law. To bring in protections against discrimination on the basis of sex is there right now. Discrimination on the basis of caste we have right now. Discrimination on the basis of religion we have laws right now. And several other countries which were much like us, having protections only against sexual discrimination based on sex, they have extended the definition of sexual discrimination to include discrimination based on sexuality. If you think about it, a person who is married to a man who is married to a woman and a man who is married to a man being treated differently is a extended version of discrimination based on sex. Like in our military right now, because straight men can serve, straight women can serve, but gay men or gay women cannot serve. Who you love, who you marry, determines whether you are eligible to serve, irrespective of your other relevant qualifications. That is that is a classic definition of discrimination based on sex, which our constitution already protects against. But for the law to be interpreted as such, a court has to say so, or the legislative has to say so. Only when the law changes will there be actual visibility, actual representation, actual fearless lives that we can lead. Until 2018 and after 2018, you guys might know better than me, because I was in 2018 I was 15. So you guys might have a better memory of that time, 2018 judgment, after decriminalization, how we were treated in society, and before, how we were, especially in the media, especially in our families, when the debate is going on in the media about whether or not this should be done, how they speak, and after a Supreme Court has legitimized us, how they speak. The difference the law can bring is very significant. So when we're talking about safe spaces for queer communities in colleges as well as in workspaces, the objective should be to change the law, not just to change the minds, because once the law changes, minds change. Right now in BITS Pilani, they have negotiated with the college administration in line with UGC guidelines to bring about safe spaces for queer communities. The same way, if the UGC was more motivated, the safe spaces for LGBTQ communities in colleges will obviously become better. The same way, if the CBSE is interested, if they push for reforms, if they push for guidelines, only then will schools become truly safe spaces. And the same way for workspaces, the central government as well as state governments are the ones who are calling the shots. Without actual movement from us, putting pressure for institutional reform, we cannot actually breathe a sigh of relief. We can keep saying we need to educate our straight people, we need to create allyship, we need to educate our parents, we need to educate ourselves, we need to deal with internalized homophobia, external homophobia. We can say all that, but until institutions change, until the system changes, nothing can. And it is upon us. Yes, it is our responsibility to do that, because we cannot expect anybody else to fight for us if we are not willing to fight for ourselves. I would like to end my remarks on that note.
Thank you so much, Akash. You brought some really interesting, or rather important facts to the table. Thank you. Bhushan. So, have you ever encountered any homophobic instance in your life? Please elaborate.
Definitely. Yeah, I have. The worst part is like, yeah, my close friends, and like I really counted on them, and you know, all the homophobics, the common thing they have is like, thinking that a person getting attracted to the same gender is like, transitioning to the opposite gender. I think you get what I mean. Yeah. So that's what they think, and they were like, can I like answer this after some? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll just pass this question. I'll answer this in the last.
Yeah, sure. So I have another question for you.
Yeah.
If you could blame someone for queerphobia in India, who will it be?
Queerphobia, yeah. There is no such person, a particular person to be blamed. I'd say the queer person themselves, who aren't accepting themselves. Like, they need not come out of the closet. It's their personal opinion, and it's their choice. The people who think the fellow queer people as not as non-human or abnormal is that is the peak of homophobia or queer phobia. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right. Thank you, Bhushan. So next up, I have some general questions. Any one of you can take it up and answer. We've been talking about the need to have a campus safe space, and Akash and Pavitran have elaborated on it like really well. Would anybody else like to add on about the need to have a campus safe space? If none of you have anything else to say, we can move on to the next question. Okay, so can I go to the next question?
Yeah,
Yes,
sorry,
please.
sorry, I was lost. What was? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Okay. Do you want to add on to something like the need to have a campus safe space?
Sorry, come again. I mean,
What is the need to have a campus safe space? Would you like to
yeah,
add?
yeah. So need for having a campus safe space is like announcing people or letting people know that we are there for you. Some sort of system is there for you. Particularly in our campus, I don't know. I think there doesn't exist a person called a counselor or a mental health supporter or a person who everyone can go reach out to him and talk without them being judged. I don't think there is a person or a system for that in our campus. Even if it exists, we are not aware of that. So it's about creating a space, creating a system where people can rely on us, where people can count us on their in their hard times. So yeah, that's the need for having a campus safe space. The name itself is evident.
Thank you. That was really well said, Bhushan. Do you really think? I mean, this is a question for anybody. Do you really think a safe space will help people to come out about their gender identity or sexual identity?
Well, that is the very definition of a safe space, isn't it? Why do people not come out? It's not like we would like to stay in the closet and have to do things in secret when everybody is flaunting their life around us. The fact that we need a safe space comes from the fact that there is discrimination. If there is no discrimination, there is no need for safe space. Everybody needs a safe space when we are growing up, because it's a tumultuous time. There is a lot of change going around us. Our minds are not fully formed. Our minds are controlled by hormones. When we are confused and when we are at our lowest, we need a support system. We need our friends, we need our family. And the fact that we spend more time in our schools and colleges and with our friends and our faculty than we spend at home is the bedrock of why we need our campuses to be safe spaces. It needs to be a protective environment of learning, of growth, not just of bookish lessons, but also as a person we grow in our schools and colleges. So that is exactly why those places need to be safe for everybody, not just for the heteronormative upper caste cis men. So that is not how things work anymore. To be shunned aside just because you're different is not a sustainable thing, because it's a cycle of bullying, of crime, of people. We see several activist campaigns coming up from brands right now, as to how I remember Vogue magazine came up with how men who were taught as boys that boys don't cry grow up to be men who assume that women are supposed to cry and engage in domestic abuse. How that cycle continues through stereotype and domestic abuse was highlighted by Vogue. And we see how Netflix is talking about queer rights through representation, how Tinder is talking about consent, how Bumble is talking about giving women the right to initiate conversations against the stereotype and in the norm of thinking that only men have to initiate conversations, only men have to do things, women are supposed to be reserved and receiving. All that is being challenged by brands that are gaining bigger market share right now. So when we think about college spaces where we are getting exposed to such brands, exposed to such media, we need to feel safe to explore our identities, because if our families don't make us feel safe, if our society doesn't make us feel safe, if the law enforcement that is supposed to protect us doesn't make us feel safe, what else is left? Only the college, and even our friends make casual homophobic and heteronormative comments around us if we are in the closet. At that time, it's a really hurtful, really traumatizing, really triggering situation to be in as a closeted person. So if you can't turn to anywhere to be in a safe space, what else is left for you to do except to kill yourself? That is exactly why suicide rates are higher in LGBTQ citizens than it is for our straight and cisgendered counterparts. So we need to understand these realities of society to build our safe spaces, not just because they're the trend to do, not just because they are mandated, but because they are the need, they are the norm, they are the ideal we need to work towards. Yes.
Right. Thank you, Akash. Thank you for answering that question. So I have another question. How do you think, how do you express your legitimacy? How do you think you can express legitimacy?
Whenever people, whether they're homophobes or whether they're just confused allies, whether they're just people who have never exposed themselves to the community, when they ask about how can you be full-fledged members of society, you can't reproduce, you're unnatural, when they say things like that, we come back to the point that in order to become full-fledged members of our society, we need to fight for our full rights. We cannot donate blood right now. We cannot join the military right now, which is considered as serving the country is one of the ideal definitions of a citizen across the world, not just in India. So we're not allowed to serve in the military. We're not allowed in several elite sports. We are being discriminated in the Olympics. LGBTQ people. We don't have marriage rights. We can't adopt children. When you don't have the rights of a full citizen, it translates to you being treated as a child. When a government tells a woman when and in which circumstance she can abort her child, when a government tells adult citizens when and who they can marry, and whether they can have children, what religion they have to subscribe to, what belief they have to subscribe to, those citizens are being treated as substandard, as kids who can't make decisions for themselves. So when an adult person is being treated as a child in a society, that is when you know that there is no freedom. That is exactly what the colonizers did to us. They assumed they knew better. They assumed they were civilized, that we needed civilization. They assumed we were children who needed our choices to be made by somebody else who was more civilized, who was more accepted as the norm. So this is modern colonization, actually, if you think about it. Oppression of communities, any oppressed community that it may be, whether it is the oppression of women, oppression of castes that were considered lower in the pre-independence times, whether it is the oppression of LGBTQ communities, it all goes back to the fact that we are being treated as if we cannot make our own decisions, as if we cannot live our own life with the freedom and the liberties that are guaranteed to a full citizen of the country. So to get there, the point is to be recognized as legitimate, to be recognized as full-fledged members of society. We need to fight for our rights. We need to make sure we are getting there. We are taking the steps that are necessary, but we need to keep up the heat. the 2012 and 2015 cases in the Delhi High Court as well as the Supreme Court got rejected, and criminalization of homosexuality was held up because there was not enough public uproar, because there was not enough campaigning going on from our side. Only if we make ourselves visible will people see us, will people see that we are normal members of society, we are their family, we are their brothers, sisters, and friends and family, we are their colleagues, we are their classmates, we are nothing less than a full-fledged citizen that they are used to. Only if we make ourselves visible that way, we can claim legitimacy, we can claim our rights. Only if we represent ourselves instead of just waiting for them to give us a chance to represent ourselves, can we claim full legitimacy, like you asked.
Thank you so much. You made a lot of.
I'd like to add a different perspective, like from the page thing and activism thing. So this thing happened. There is a page called Golden PhD Tech, and that I suppose that is run by a faculty or a student. I don't know who is that. And now I feel I am not like afraid of letting this thing come out. So first we were like approaching them to promote our page and to create like, as a awareness or kind. So they were like, they actually reached us and they appreciated that this is a brave page, and I still have the screenshots. So that conversation was going on, and like we were talking, texting, and we asked for promotion, and they said like we are here for official news and all, and we don't promote any kind of club or thing. And after a week or so, there emerged a page called like Indian Taboo or something. I am not sure with the name because they kept changing the names. So that page, they dealt with kings and other sexual activities. So I don't say that talking about kings and kings is not it's bad. So it's normal, but the in this situation, in this perspective, so that page was being promoted by the Golden PhD Tech. So as a common person, I would like to know what will be your reaction. Maybe Pavitran, you can tell.
I thought this arrow was coming at me. No, Bhushan, that Arjun is desperate for a PhD. I mean, he's the last person that we can contact for any sort of association or promotion per se. And I don't know if I have to say, I only have really Patrick experience with him in person. So it's better that we let go of those ideas. I mean, I can't really comment on that guy, how Patrick is, and guys, he dated his student. So I'm not exaggerating. She was in the first year. I mean, this could go as a
Oh, sorry, Pavitran. Sorry for cutting you. Like,
sorry,
you know the person. I mean, are you aware of the admin?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Oh God. Oh God.
He in fact stays in the boys' hostel and was recently married last year and had a kid this year. So that guy is one of the worst nightmares that one could ever come through. And he hails from a department. For now the department shall be nameless. And he's a pedophile. He should have been caught out. And even I once told him that what you're doing is insane. And that he responds, it is none of your business. Okay, it is none of my business until someone points out. And the department pointed out, sent a memo, and now, the waves are different now. I mean, I can't really comment on that guy.
Yeah. No, actually, I was asking that someone like promising you a promotion if we are like legitimate and all. and promoting I won't say shitty page, like non-legitimate page maybe. What do you feel about that?
No, I instantly feel so, it is like self-ridiculing. They pose as someone, and they communicate, they are different. So yeah, I don't feel that, I don't feel they are so authentic, and it encapsulates the whole baby boomers thing. So bipolar, and that's what I have to say here.
Yeah, fine. So yeah, still we haven't got any recognition by that page, and I'm not looking forward for that kind of thing. And one more thing, I would like to add for the first question, like how do you what are the challenges for the quiz space, safe space? Like this is one of a kind. This is one of a kind. And one more thing, now currently I'm in Coimbatore and I'm staying in a private room, so I could talk freely about. I could utter the word gay, or I could utter the word queer. I could say sex. I can utter those words. Usually, when I'm in my hometown, or in my held up in my home, I can't do this kind of stuff. So that's, I think that's one among the challenges. And
Trust
and
me,
answering
Coimbatore
the
is not a safe space at all. Once you go out of the town, you know the reality. I'm from the outskirts. I'm telling you, that is not the reality. That's why I live separate from my family. So it is not safe at all.
Yeah, okay. I should just I will just flee this country and wait for Akash to do all the necessary things here, and then I'll return back.
Sure, I think they're making Tarsha sleep. Tarsha, are you awake?
Yes, I'm up. I'm listening to you guys talk.
I mean, if
Okay.
that's a comment I hear from a lot of members of the community, that you want to leave India. That's something I think is counterproductive. I mean, it's your choice, of course. It's not judgmental on my part. I'm just saying that it's my personal belief that if you want to, எல்லாருமே வந்து சாக்கடைய க்ளீன் பண்றது, சாக்கடையில இருந்து தள்ளி தள்ளி போனா யார் இறங்கி க்ளீன் பண்றது?
Exact point, Akash. Like, yeah.
You should. I mean, it's a point of. I mean, yes, not everybody should be forced to have to undergo discrimination and yet fight for equal rights and undergo humiliation and eventually end up getting half the rights that they fought for. That nobody should be forced to do that. But it is the situation that we are in. What is the best way to deal with it is a matter of public debate. Yes, there is no one answer for anything at all in this world. If you understand that, of course we can become more optimistic. Our mental health would be so much better if we can understand that there is no one answer for everything. So
Yeah, exactly.
if everybody has their own perspective of how they're looking at this issue. So you one person might be of the opinion that yes, we need to bring change from within. One person might be of the opinion that I want to go to some place where I feel that change is already there. Of course, that place might not exactly have the change that you're looking for. That's a different story. But if you think and if you believe and if you want to do that, yes, that is your right. We are fighting for that very right, the right to choose our own destiny, the right to choose our own lives, to be determining what we want to do with our own lives. So it's counterproductive to first say that we want to exit this situation. That's counterproductive. Yes. The other counterproductive part is that saying we don't want you to leave. The restriction of that personal freedom is also counterproductive. The only productive thing to do is to understand that there are varying perspectives. Is to understand that not only your perspective is the right one, but there is accommodation and there is space for every one of us to exist cordially.
Yeah, I will
Akash,
definitely go
I
with
have a
you.
small point to say. So the drainage example which you mentioned is quite offensive, to be honest. Whatever you articulated was excellent, but it is the example doesn't suit it. Why should someone clean the drainage? First of all, so I think you could have mentioned some other examples.
No,
It's okay.
co-opted it from how they say அரசியல் ஒரு சாக்கடைன்னு எல்லாரும் சொல்லிட்டு போனா
Exactly.
யாரு
அதான். that's what a subconscious bias is. நான் அதை தான் சொல்லுவேன். But now, it's quite a discriminatory one. I've come to understood.
Yeah, Akash, I'd go with that. Actually, yeah, we don't have a particular answer for anything in this world. Like my perspective is like to stay away from my family, and I would love if India is like more progressive and all. But yeah, it depends on individual. Some may like they
Tasha,
don't want to be.
do we have time for? I mean, I thought it's supposed to go till 8. We're already at 8:40.
Yes, actually, yeah. I think we should. I'll just add one thing about homophobia. Actually, I wanted to answer it in the end. So I have the screen recording of that. So I was like broken when I came to know that one person who helped me to design the logo for TechUZ. I mean, the present logo of TechUZ is designed by that person, and that person behaved like a homophobic person. I can say like the WhatsApp group. Maybe I can say in the public. So he chose to do that, or maybe he was forced to do that. That doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, even progressive people or broad-minded people sometimes may behave like shit. Yeah, I think I am done from my side.
Guys, let's hear Tarsha's perspectives for once. I mean, she's been really persistent asking us questions. Tarsha, why don't you go ahead and add some points?
I'm still in the learning process of everything, so this was actually really informative for me. I took back a lot from this session, so yes.
If Akash, I know Kirti and I were to explain everything, and I think it would be a little bit of mansplaining, and that's what it feels. So I thought
Not really.
your participation.
Not really. I'm really open to this.
And I'm really looking forward to discussion on topics like feminism, also dating, because when you say the word dating, people think it's a one-night stand and hookup. Come on, I've been exhausted by this. So I'll just cite this example. So I was actually came lateral entry in metallurgy after completing my diploma in mechanical. So what usually happens is mechanical.
No, where which college?
Yeah, PhD Polytechnic. That's 7 years in the So what usually happens is guys never know how to approach a girl properly or approach another guy properly. Vice versa. Not just guys, I encapsulate both men and women, and all the non-binary things. So they stalk, they send unnecessary messages. It is all something which makes the person feel creepy about. Also those movies they inspire from. What is it? Remo and other things. Stupid AF, man. Stalking never, makes someone feel attracted or, impressed by something. So you got to teach them on how to approach someone, how to be legitimate, honest about their feelings, asking them out, asking for dates. So I asked this classmate of mine for a date, and she was offended, and she went and complained me to the staff. And the staff is Kavita ma'am, which God, I was like anything. I mean, I told her what a date is, and then I'm an adult, so I told her all the legal ways, and she took it to the HOD. So long story short, so we got to teach them on feminism, and there is a lot of misogyny, just like women. I guess Tarsha can very well relate to it. So how internal misogyny works, how women are suppressed from leadership positions, and very basic like placement rape and other roles, and a lot of feminist related things, a lot of dating related things, which will empower women, and at the same time question patriarchy, and it helps men to emote properly. So I'm looking forward to conversations like this also in the future.
Definitely. I think we can plan one out for sure. Right, Bhushan? All right.
Okay, it's okay.
I guess we can bring in our star professor Venkatachalam Tirupati.
No, actually, Pavitra and I think we don't need to go personally with our department here. So yeah, I should thank you people for being here and happy anniversary for TechUC. So today we are like celebrating the first anniversary and I'm super excited. I really want to thank Tasha, Atrukshna, Sushantika, our friend, and the girls are like fascinating. You're just bold as fuck. So they agreed to show their face in the live way long. I mean, way before I agreed. Because I'm showing my face for the first time here, even being a co-founder. Okay, so these kids are like really very great, and there are many people. We are a team of 28. We have alumni like alum like Pavitran, and yeah, but we are like a mix of people, and each and every one of you are one of us are like a gem. I just want to thank you people for that.
Thank
Come
you so
on,
much.
bro, don't materialize us.
Means
Just
a
give
lot.
it.
Oh, okay. I have to render a special thank to Aditya for being a co-founder as well, and Kiran Babu. Yeah, like my batchmates.
Great.
Love for you guys.
To a lot more WebGR days, guys.
Yeah.
Yes. So, is there
Thank you
anything
for
else
having me here,
that you
guys.
want to say?
Yeah, Akash, your articulation is really excellent, and I hope you take some, good political stance in the future. And I look forward to voting you. And also, Tarsha, your moderation skills are, excellent, second to none. And I've also seen you in other live videos as well. So, kudos to you. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much, Pavitran.
Yeah, I guess we can end.
Good night, guys.
Yeah, good night.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you
for
so much,
being here.
guys. It was a really impactful session. I took back a lot.
Thank you for hosting. Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night.